the beginning of your remarks for the benefit of the clerk. There will be an opportunity for members of the public to provide comments. When your name is called, you will be unmuted when it is your turn to speak. Please wait until the chair calls on you to begin speaking. State your name at the beginning of your comments and adhere to the time limits. If anyone has difficulties or is watching via HTV and would like to provide comments to be included in the record for local government hearing, please email them to planner@plancom.org. That's planner@plancom.org. For action items, the meeting will be conducted as follows. The agenda item will be introduced. Staff will give their presentation with a 15-minute time limit. The applicant will be given the opportunity to make a presentation with a 15-minute time limit. Following presentations, members of the public may address the Planning Commission when recognized by the chair. Public comment will be heard for 3 minutes per person. The applicant will be afforded a 3-minute period for rebuttal response. Planning commissioners will ask questions. Public comment will be closed. Thereupon a motion, a second, and discussion, a vote will be taken. With that introduction, I will lead us in the prayer and pledge of allegiance. Would everybody please rise? Angel of God, hang on. Angel of God, my guardian dear, to whom God's love commits me here, ever this day be at my side, to light and guard, to rule and guide. Amen. Salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. With that, I would like to ask the clerk to do roll call, please.
Good afternoon. Bernstein?
Here.
Buzza? Buzza? Cardenas?
Here.
Dickerson?
Here.
Fernandez?
Here.
Handy? Commissioner Handy? Kress?
Here.
Commissioner Kress?
Commissioner Kress is here.
All right, thank you. Loke? Commissioner Loke? Marino? I'm sorry, I'm having trouble hearing. Is Commissioner Marino there?
No.
Okay. Powell?
Here.
Rodriguez?
Here.
All right, thank you. You have a quorum.
Did he call me? All right, but I'm here anyway, so. Thank you. All right.
Chair Joseph?
I'm here. All
I
right,
apologize for that.
no problem. I'll ask you, the clerk, to please also administer the oath of office to our new appointee, soon-to-be Commissioner Stephen Fernandez, Temple Terrace.
All right. Commissioner Fernandez, if you'll stand up and raise your right hand. And repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Stephen Fernandez.
A commission appointee of the City of Temple Terrace.
Representing the City of Temple Terrace.
Do solemnly swear or affirm.
Do solemnly swear or affirm.
That I will faithfully perform the duties of my appointed office.
That I will faithfully perform the duties of my office.
And will support and honor to the best of my ability.
And will support and honor to the best of my ability.
All applicable laws of the state of Florida.
All applicable laws of the state of Florida.
Hillsborough County, as well as the bylaws.
Hillsborough County, as well as the bylaws.
Beliefs, vision, mission, policies, procedures.
Can you please repeat that?
beliefs, vision, mission,
belief,
policies,
mission,
procedures,
and policies and procedures,
and standards of conduct
and standards of conduct
of the Hillsborough County City County Planning Commission.
of Hillsborough County's City County Planning Commission.
I hereby, through this oath, affirm that I will perform the duties
I hereby, per this oath, perform the duties
of this public trust in a fair, equitable, and ethical manner,
of this public trust in a fair and ethical political manner,
befitting the dignity and responsibilities of the office.
fulfilling the dignity, sorry, you're gonna have to repeat that, sir.
Befitting the dignity and responsibilities of the office.
Befitting the dignity and responsibilities of the office.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Did you want to say a little bit about yourself, a small word? Let's go ahead.
Sure. I'm Stephen Fernandez. I'm a research assistant professor at USF, University of South Florida. I teach GIS courses for the Urban and Planning Urban and Regional Planning program. It's my first meeting, obviously, and I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Welcome aboard.
All right.
All right. With all that out of the way, the next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes for the following meetings. The regular meeting, December 6, 2021. The public hearing on city plan amendments, December 6, 2021. And the public hearing on City of Temple Terrace plan amendments, December 6, 2021. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Right. Motion by Commissioner Powell. Do I have a second to that? Second by Commissioner Kress. Motion to approve by Commissioner Powell. A second by Commissioner Kress. Is there any more discussion amongst the commissioners? Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to go ahead and do a roll call vote.
Bernstein,
Yes.
Buzza, Cardenas,
Yes.
Fernandez,
Yes.
Handy, Kress,
Yes.
Logue, Marino, Powell.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Powell.
Yes.
Thank you. Joseph,
Yes.
motion carried 6-0.
Thank you. All right, we did not have anyone on to agenda item number 2, public input. We did not have anyone sign up to speak on items, non-action items on the agenda, so we will move past the public comment into agenda item number 3, action items, and it will be a presentation of the Port of Tampa Bay permit number 20028, Island Club at Rocky Point, consistency determination by Sean College.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm Sean College with Planning Commission staff. I will go ahead and share my screen. As was mentioned, this is Port Tampa Bay permit number 20-028, Island Club at Rocky Point. Okay. To advance the slide here, 1 second. There we go. The purpose of this item is for a consistency determination with the City of Tampa Comprehensive Plan. Port Tampa Bay transmitted this application to the Planning Commission with a request for this consistency determination. And this is per chapters 95-488 and 97-351 laws of Florida. On your screen shows the location of this Port Tampa Bay standard permit for marine construction. It's on Rocky Point, just north of the Courtney Campbell Causeway within the City of Tampa on Old Tampa Bay. On your screen is a zoomed in of the current location of the project. And that is an existing, on your screen is an existing dock that has since been removed in preparation for new construction. As was mentioned, existing conditions, there was a previous dock on the site. The project supports a new 180-unit upland residential condominium development on the upland of the site. The subject of this application is the marine construction for a new docking marina facility here. The proposed project would install a new dock marina facility with 12 slips, an observation deck, a kayak and canoe dock as well. On your screen is how the new facility will be configured once it's complete. Considerations for consistency of this type of a project with the City of Tampa Comprehensive Plan. We would consider that this is an appropriate location for a docking facility. In fact, there wasn't a previously existing docking facility at this site. There are adequate depths per the comprehensive plan, which does have a requirement for a certain amount of depth, and those depths are adequate in this location. And the project as designed would avoid any seagrasses in the area and also would avoid other environmental impacts. So with those considerations for consistency, Planning Commission staff would recommend to the Planning Commission that they issue the resolution in their packet, which is a finding of consistency with the City of Tampa Comprehensive Plan, and that we forward that to the Port Authority. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you. No one signed up for public comment, so I will, or did we have anyone sign up? No public comment for this one, so I'll turn it over to the planning commissioners. Any discussion, comments, or questions on this item? Seeing no lights in the room, no hands online, I will go ahead and close the public comment and open it up to the commissioners for motions on this item. Commissioner Bernstein.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. At this time, I would move that we find City of Tampa, Port of Tampa Bay permit number 20-028 in connection with the Island Club at Rocky Point, consistent with the goals, policies, and objectives of the Imagine 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan, and that we refer it on to the Tampa City Council for their consideration.
Second.
All right, I have a motion of consistency finding from Commissioner Bernstein, a second to that motion by Commissioner Powell. Is there any more discussion of this item from the commissioners?
Mr. Chair, just a quick clarification. This will be forwarded to the Port Tampa Bay, please.
A consistency finding to be forwarded to the Port Tampa Bay. Okay.
Correct.
All right, thank you. Is there any more discussion from the commissioners, questions on this item? Not seeing any, I will ask the clerk to go ahead and do a roll call vote.
Bernstein,
Yes.
Cardenas,
Yes.
Fernandez,
Yes.
Kress,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Joseph.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried 6-0.
Thank you. All right, our next item up is item number 4, briefings and presentations. Our first briefing is TACPA 21-25, Comprehensive Plan Amendment, Comprehensive Plan Map Amendment, Tampa Park Property South, and the presenter is Samuel Thomas.
Good afternoon. This is Samuel Thomas. Are you all able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Again, this is Sam Thomas with your Planning Commission staff. This is Tampa Comprehensive Plan Amendment 2125 for the Tampa Parks Property South. The subject site is in the Central Tampa Planning District within the historic Ybor City neighborhood. Here it is on our locational map. Here's an aerial of the subject site and the surrounding area. The subject site is highlighted in this yellow color. The yellow dashed line is the approximate location of the local Ybor City Historic District. As you can see, the subject site falls just outside of the local historic district. The southeast of the subject site is Nucio Parkway and the CSX Railroad. There's also Adamo Drive over to the east of the site. The west of the site is North Nebraska Avenue and the Encore development, along with Interstate 275. Directly across from the subject site is Scott Street, and north of the subject site is the Robert Saunders Public Library and the Booker T. Washington Elementary School. To the north of the site is East 7th Avenue up here, and over here is Ybor City. To the south of the site is the Channel District neighborhood. Some background information on the request. It is privately initiated, small scale in size, approximately 7.65 acres. And the request is to change the future land use from community mixed use 35 to regional mixed use 100. Here is the adopted future land use map. Again, the subject site currently is recognized under the CMU 35 future land use category. You can see other parcels in the CMU 35 future land use category to the north and the east. I would like to note directly north of the subject site, these three parcels here were part of a previous plan amendment 2120 to change the future land use to the urban mixed use 60 category. Directly across from the subject site is a city-owned park recognized under the recreational open space future land use. To the south, east, and west of the subject site is the regional mixed use 100 category and the dark magenta looking color. And then up to the northeast of the subject site is a community commercial can be found in Ybor City in this dark red color. Here is the proposed future land use map. You can see the subject site and the regional mixed use 100 dark magenta color. And then again, I would like to note that the three parcels to the north of the subject site were previously part of TACPA 2120, but that is not reflected in this map. These are the potential impacts of the proposed change. The existing CMU 35 designation allows for the consideration of 267 units or 666,468 square feet of residential or non-residential use. Under the RMU 100 category, the subject site has the potential to be considered for 765 units or 1,165,319 square feet of residential or non-residential use. The proposed amendment would allow for additional density and intensity and would introduce the possibility of the RM35, RM50, RM75, and CI zoning districts. This concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any comments or questions on this one from the commissioners? Not seeing any at this time or hands on the WebEx. We'll thank you for the presentation and move on to our next presentation. 4B, TACPA 21-26, Comprehensive Plan Map Amendment 8116 North River Shore Drive, and the presenter is Danny Collins.
Afternoon. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
This is Danny Collins with your Planning Commission staff. This is TACPA 2126. It's a briefing for the property located at 8116 North River Shore Drive. The subject site is within the Central Tampa Planning District, and more specifically, it's within the Lowry Park Central neighborhood, shown here on our locational map. Here's an aerial map of the subject site and the surrounding properties. The subject site shown in this blue color, it's outlined in black. It's directly to the west of Purity Springs Park, just on the north side of North River Shore Drive. It is in proximity to North Florida Avenues. It's just to the west of Florida Avenue, which contains non-residential uses. As you move west past the subject site on North River Shore Drive, you start getting into a residential community to the west. Just a quick background, this is a publicly initiated amendment. It's small scale in size. The site is approximately 0.42 acres. Currently, it has 2 future land use designations. The majority of the site is recognized under the public, semi-public designation. And then there 0.10 acres of the site is recognized under the residential 35 designation. This request would recognize the entire site under the residential 35 designation. The Planning Commission staff is initiating this amendment on behalf of the applicant, on behalf of the property owner. Since the property is not under public ownership, the PSP designation is no longer appropriate on this site. The Planning Commission staff mailed a letter to the property owner, also spoke to the property owner on the phone regarding this change. The property owner agreed to move forward with this proposed change. Here is the adopted future land use map. Majority of the site shown in this blue color is currently recognized under that public, semi-public designation. The northern portion of the site is within the residential 35 designation. Directly to the east of the subject site is Period East Springs Park, which is recognized under the recreation open space designation. There is residential 35 directly to the northeast of the subject site and also to the east on North River Shore Drive. This area shown in this orange tannish color is land recognized under the residential 10 future land use designation. The subject site is just on the north side of the Hillsborough River. Here is the proposed future land use map. This change would recognize the entire site under that residential 35 future land use designation. Currently, under the public, semi-public, and residential 35 designation, the subject site can be considered for 3 dwelling units, or just over 2,600 square feet of non-residential development. I do want to note that additional intensity or density could be considered on the site since it is within the public, semi-public designation. As proposed under the residential 35 designation, the subject site could be considered for 14 dwelling units or just under 11,000 square feet of residential development. This concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments from the commissioners? Yes, Commissioner Powell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a quick question. Since it's public initiated, is there a reason why there wasn't like a higher density being proposed? I saw it was
Currently, there's a portion of the site that's currently recognized under the residential 35. So we discussed this on our team, and we believe the residential 35 would be appropriate, given that it's just to bring the entire site under that residential 35 designation.
Oh, so there's already a portion that has the Res 35?
Correct, yep.
Okay, all right, I didn't hear that earlier. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Powell. Are there any more questions from the commissioners or comments? Not seeing any lights at this time. We'll thank you for the presentation and move on to our next presentation item. 4C is TACPA 21-27 Comprehensive Plan Text Amendment, 10-Year Water Supply Facilities Work Plan, and the presenter is Diego Guerra.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Diego Guerra, Planning Commission staff. This briefing is on the text amendment to the City of Tampa's comprehensive plan. This amendment serves as a 10-year water supply facilities work plan update. This is a publicly initiated amendment, and the 10-year water supply facilities work plan is required to be updated following the regional water supply plan adoption, which occurred in November of 2020. The non-adoptable documentation included in your packet includes detailed analysis, a report that examines projections, sources, and project options. Excuse me. This was a multi-agency coordination effort with information provided by the City of Tampa, Tampa Bay Water, and the Southwest Florida Water Management District. This is an update to the potable water section of the comprehensive plan by replacing the existing table with the one in your packets. The text changes in the potable water and infrastructure sections incorporate a holistic water resources planning concept similar to what was done for the county with the One Water chapter. The purpose of the update is to fulfill the statutory requirement to update the 10-year water supply facilities work plan with updates to the work plan table and edits to the water-related language in the potable water and infrastructure sections. Ladies and gentlemen, no action is required at this time. The public hearing on this item is scheduled for 14 February. At this time, myself and city staff are available for any questions you may have.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments on this one, this items from the commissioners? Not seeing any lights in the room or anybody on the line. We will thank you for the presentation and move on to the next item. Item 4D is TACPA 21-28 Comprehensive Plan Map Amendment 201 and 203 East Cluster Avenue, and the presenter is Jennifer Malone.
Hi, Jennifer Malone with your Planning Commission staff. Hopefully everybody can see my screen. This is a briefing on 201 and 203 East Cluster Avenue for Plan Amendment 21-28. This is located in the Central Tampa Planning District and the Seminole Heights Urban Village, as well as the Seminole Heights neighborhood. Here's an outline of the subject site in blue. As you can see, it's just east of North Florida Avenue and north of East Flora Street. To the south of the subject site is the Bo's Ice Cream Shop. We also have a variety of car dealerships, a self-storage facility to the north, and to the south is the you can see a portion of the American Legion Park. The request is privately initiated, small scale, at about 0.35 acres from residential 10 to residential 20. Here's the adopted future land use map. You can see those two subject sites recognized under the residential 10 future land use. To the west of the site, the red is Community Commercial 35. That's the predominant land use along North Florida Avenue. To the south, along West Sly and East Sly, is Community Mixed Use 35 in the pink. The green color is recreational open space, recognizing the American Legion Park, and the blue are some of the public and semi-public uses in the surrounding area. And the proposal before you is to recognize those two parcels as residential 20. This would increase the impact from about 3 dwelling units to 7 dwelling units. It would also increase the amount of non-residential square footage from approximately 5,000 to 7,000. But the subject site would still be required to meet locational criteria for any consideration of non-residential uses on the site. And that concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the commissioners, discussion on this item? Not seeing anyone in here or anyone online. Well, thank you for the presentation and move on to our next item. 4E TACPA 21-29's Comprehensive Plan Map Amendment, 6112 Southwest Shore Boulevard and 4733 West Bay Avenue. And the presenter is Danny Collins.
Good afternoon. This is Danny Collins with your Planning Commission staff. This is a briefing for TACPA 21-29. It's for the properties located at 6112 Southwest Shore Boulevard and 4733 West Bay Avenue. Subject site is within the South Tampa Planning District. It's within the Gandy neighborhood, and the entire site is within the coastal hazard area. It's shown here on our locational map. Here's an aerial map of the subject site and the surrounding properties. The subject site shown in this blue color and outlined in black is at the northeast corner of Southwest Shore Boulevard and West Bay Avenue. There are non-residential uses to the north of the subject site. To the east and south on West Bay Avenue are single-family detached residential uses. On the west side of Southwest Shore Boulevard are attached single-family residential uses. Just a quick background, this is a privately initiated amendment. It's small scale in size. The subject site is just under a half acre. The request is to change the future land use from the residential 10 future land use designation to the community mixed use 35 designation. Here's the adopted future land use map. You'll see the subject site consists of 2 folio numbers. Both are recognized under that residential 10 designation. There is residential 10 all along the east side of Southwest Shore Boulevard and adjacent to the subject site to the north, east, and south. Directly to the west, on the west side of Southwest Shore Boulevard, is land recognized under the CMU 35 designation. And then southwest of the subject site is land recognized under the residential 35. And then as you move further west, this tannish color is designated environmentally sensitive areas. Here's the proposed future land use map, recognizing the entire site under the community mixed use 35 future land use designation. Here is a slide showing the potential impacts of the proposed change. Currently, under the residential 10 designation, the subject sites can be considered for a total of 4 dwelling units, or just over 7,300 square feet of residential and non-residential uses. As proposed, under the CMU 35 designation, the subject site can be considered for 16 dwelling units, or just under 42,000 square feet non-residential uses. The CMU 35 designation allows development up to a 2.0 FAR and residential development up to a 35 dwelling units per acre. This concludes my presentation, and I'm available for any questions.
Thank you. Any questions or discussion on this item from the commissioners? No, not seeing any lights in the room or any excitement on the WebEx. I will thank you for the presentation, and we will move on to our next presentation item, 4F, TACPA 21-30, Comprehensive Plan Map Amendment, 2015, 2017 Maple Avenue, and 2020 Oakwood Avenue. And the presenter is Jennifer Malone.
Hi, Jennifer Malone again. This is a briefing on 21-30 along Maple Avenue and Oakwood Avenue. This is in the Central Tampa Planning District in the Palmetto Beach neighborhood, and the subject site is located within the coastal high hazard area. It is located just east of South 20th Street. Here's Maple Avenue and Oakwood Avenue, so it's a total of 3 parcels, 1 on Oakwood and 2 on Maple. In the surrounding area, there was an old restaurant / bar use at the corner of South 22nd and Maple and Oakwood. There's also a lot of single family detached in the surrounding area, some commercial uses along South 22nd, and then the industrial uses along South 20th. It is a privately initiated small scale amendment at about 0.53 acres from transitional use 24 to community mixed use 35. This is the adopted future land use map. You can see the transitional use 24 is that salmon color. That's to the north and south of the site. It's predominant in this area. There's also the community mixed use 35 to the east. That's the pink color. Further east is residential 20 along South Bermuda Boulevard, and to the north is residential 10. That's the orange tan color. To the west of the subject site is light industrial and heavy industrial along South 20th Street. There's also the environmentally sensitive areas that we find along South Bermuda Boulevard to the east. And the proposed future land use would take those 3 parcels to community mixed use 35, that is the pink color. This would increase the potential dwelling units from 12 to 18, and it would increase the amount of non-residential from 34,000 to about 46,000 square feet. So overall, it would allow a greater intensity of non-residential uses and residential uses. The plan amendment would also remove the ability to develop the site with the industrial general zoned uses, because that is allowable under the transitional use 24 future land use today. I'm available for any questions. I'll also note that this entire batch of amendments will be back before you with the recommendation on February 14th.
Thank you. Any comments or questions on this item from the commissioners? Not seeing any. We will thank you for the presentation and move on to our next briefing item. 4G, TACPA 2131 Comprehensive Plan Map Amendment, Inter Bay Pool, and the presenter is Danny Collins.
Danny Collins, again, with your Planning Commission staff. The next 3 amendments are is another batch of park amendments. This is TACPA 2131 through 2133. I'll go through each one and then be able to answer questions. Just a general, today we'll be looking at Inter Bay Pool, which is 2131, MLK Junior Recreation Complex, which is 2132, and USF Park, which is 2133. Just a quick background, these parks are publicly initiated by Tampa City Council to recognize existing City of Tampa parks. Each park is listed on the City of Tampa's dedicated park list, and all sites would be recognized through the recreational open space feature land use designation. First park is Inter Bay Pool. This is TACPA 2131. It's within the South Tampa Planning District and is within the Culbreth Heights neighborhood. Here is an aerial map of the subject site and the surrounding properties. The subject site is shown in this blue color and outlined in black. It's on the northeast corner of South Manhattan Avenue and West Estrella Street. You'll see there's predominantly residential uses to the west of the subject site, and also to the north of the subject site. I believe to the south is this. Here is the adopted future land use map. The subject site is currently recognized under the public semi-public designation. That public semi-public designation is to the north, east, and south of the subject site. Directly to the west of the subject site, shown in this orange color, is land recognized under the residential designation. Here is the proposed future land use map, recognizing the entire site under the recreational open space future land use. Currently under the public semi-public designation, the maximum density and intensity cannot be defined. Those densities and intensities are determined by the compatibility with the surrounding development pattern. As proposed, this would remove the potential of any residential and non-residential development from the subjects. This concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions.
Thank you. Yes, Commissioner Fernandez.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm just curious what the green line is on the maps. I'm assuming it's the coastal high hazard area. I've noticed it on a few maps, but I'm just not seeing it in the legend. Just want to make sure.
Yeah, this line here, I believe, is what you're referring to, is the coastal high hazard area.
Okay, thank you. That's all.
Thank you, Commissioner Fernandez. Was there any more discussion or questions on this briefing from the commissioners? Let me check the WebEx. Hang on for just a moment. I'm juggling. Not seeing anyone on the line, not seeing anyone in the room. We'll thank you for the presentation and go to the next one, Mr. Collins.
Next item is TACPA 2132. It's the Martin Luther King Jr. Recreation Complex. It's within the Central Tampa Planning District, and more specifically, it's in the West River neighborhood. Here's an aerial map of the subject site and the surrounding properties. Subject site's outlined in this black color, shown in blue. It's generally north of West Spruce Street and to the west of North Oregon Avenue. You'll see that there are public uses to the north, south, and east of the subject site. To the west, on the west side of North Rome Avenue, is a single-family detached residential neighborhood. Here is the adopted future land use map. The entire site is currently recognized under the neighborhood mixed use 35 future land use designation. That designation is to the north, east, and south of the site. Directly to the west is land recognized under the residential 35 future land use designation. Here is the proposed future land use map, showing the entire site under that recreational open space designation. Currently, under the neighborhood mixed use 35 designation, the entire site could be considered for a maximum of 191 dwelling units or 356,755 square feet of residential and non-residential uses. As proposed under the recreational open space designation, that would remove the potential of any residential and non-residential development on the subjects. This concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Collins. Are there any questions or discussions on this item from the commissioners? Not seeing anyone in the room and no one online. Please continue, Mr. Collins.
Our next item is TACPA 2133. It is USF Park. It's within the Central Tampa Planning District. It's within the Tampa Downtown Partnership. It's also within the coastal high hazard area, and it's within the CBD Central Business District peripheral. Here is an aerial map of the subject site and the surrounding properties. You'll see the subject site's outlined in this blue color. It's directly to the west of the Convention Center downtown on South Ashley. Here is the adopted future land use map. Currently, the subject site's recognized under the public semi-public designation. It's surrounded by the Central Business District to the north, east, and south of the site. There is recreational space land designations directly to the west. Currently, the subject or the maximum under the public semi-public designation cannot be determined at this time. Again, it's based on the surrounding development pattern. As proposed under the recreation open space designation, it would remove any potential residential or non-residential development on the subjects. This concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions.
Thank you. Any questions on this item from the commissioners? Not seeing any or any comments online. Well, thank you for the presentation and move on to our next agenda item. Item number 5 is an update on public engagement initiatives, and the presenters are Davita Franklin and Lynn Miranda.
Hello, I'm going to share my screen with you. My name is Lynn Miranda, and I'm your public relations strategist.
Lynn, if you just go to the bottom of your screen at the share button.
Oh, you're not seeing it?
No, we're not.
Oops. Hang on, that's what I thought I started with. There. 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 Are you seeing it now?
Give us 1 second. Yes, we are, and you just have to full screen it for us.
Yep. Thank you for your patience. Okay.
Thank you.
Sure. First of all, welcome new board members and Happy New Year, everyone. And we're always working on new updates to what we've been doing. And I'm going to kind of focus here on the most recent tools we've been using and how we've kind of converted from what used to be where we'd go and try to speak to even thousands of people in a day, as you can see by the bottom photo, to a few people masked outdoors having conversations out in Waimama. But we try to be inclusive, flexible. We're now hybrid, which is a great thing that came out of this because it will make us more inclusive forever. And we're very fluid. And of course, we've seen meetings like this a lot. So we want convenient events and meetings. So we're looking to increase opportunities to participate and let the public make comments and be inclusive of more communities that maybe have been less involved in the past. And we actually want to go and meet within the communities involved or make it very convenient for them to log on at different times, pick up different information, and maybe have multiple ways to participate throughout the process. And it involves ongoing awareness and relationship building on all ends with our partner planning agencies, with the different community groups, with media. It's all in an effort to tell our story and get the people involved in the process. And traditional media is something we've long used, which we've done cooperative marketing programs with the Times, Patch, Observer papers, Florida Sentinel, La Gaceta, radio programming, and other public-private partnerships. We've done big things like Florida's largest home show and Kids Day and all different kinds of big things that translated from these partnerships. We've done a lot of radio talk shows and promotions. We use Constant Contact for our email distribution lists a lot, including for our Connections to Tomorrow newsletter. We direct mail people when possible. We signpost in neighborhoods. Depending on what the needs are, however we can reach people through traditional media. On social media, we have Facebook pages for the Planning Commission, the Hillsborough TPO, and Vision Zero Hillsborough. I apologize for the dog. Quiet. Twitter, we have Planet Hillsborough, the Planning Commission, and the Hillsborough TPO. And coming soon, we're about to start an Instagram account. And that will be for all of Plan Hillsborough. And we'll be exploring TikTok and whatever comes out as the next greatest thing. we have tons of online tools, maps, and data, which we have a fantastic planners and research specialists and the PSS services support team for the planning department that helps with these ongoing tools that make our website a place where people want to go for information, trends, data, and different maps and applications that make their lives easier. We do want to expand on digital education and advertising. As you know, we already have existing YouTube channels for Plan Hillsborough and for the TPO plethora of meetings that they hold every month. And we want to expand our online tools. We're about to do a Nextdoor account. And then we have done collaborations on video stories. And we want to continue to grow our in-house production capabilities to produce educational video bites. And on our website, we've now established a planning briefcase page where we have the 4 videos right now that we did produce in collaboration with 83 Degrees Media. And then our first series of 1 Minute Matters videos are posted there now on our website. And we'll continue to do short educational video snippets for people to learn more about planning. Planning, education, and mentoring. Of course, as we continue our USF Fellow program, we're always excited to absorb the energy and fresh ideas of our outstanding MERP students. At the same time, we hope we're giving them a fantastic introduction into the planning field and help them focus in on what they would like to do as professionals. And of course, we continue our mentoring partnership program with APA Sunclose section. And many people have presented at APA conferences and have been called out for being outstanding mentors in our community and recognized around the country for the leadership here. We host workshops various throughout the year. We have Info Barbecue Series, which is our Brown Bag Quarterly. We're part of the regional Gulf Coast Safe Street Summit, which has gone from 1 to 2 or 3 days sometimes now. But ongoing education on traffic safety and focus on 0 deaths for pedestrians and bicyclists, as well as drivers of the cars. We have a speakers bureau, which we go to groups, we go to schools, we go to conferences and speak regularly in areas that we're innovative in and have a lot of experience with, or just educating people on the projects that we have going on. And of course, our annual Planning and Design Awards program. One thing that you as a board wanted us to focus on a few years back was getting more early planning exposure. And we've always done National Teach-In Day, and we created the Future Leaders in Planning program, which was focused on high school students and with our partners throughout the, well, first of all, Hillsborough Public School System, and then USF we spend a day at. We spent days in Plant City. We've done port tours. We've done park tours. We've done airport tours. We've done all kinds of things. And Commissioner Rodriguez has come out and presented about the at MacDill Air Force Base planning and all different kinds of things. The kids get a crash course in a week, and we ended out with our partners with ULI. And sadly, the last 2 years, due to COVID, we did not operate Future Leaders in Planning, but we're excited that next month it will go up for applications again for this year. And the first week in June, Flip will be back. And then this past summer, we were able to take what previously had been assisting at a summer camp in the Seminole Heights neighborhood, focused on safety and Vision Zero and an introduction overview to planning to a much more in-depth program, and branched out to a few more neighborhoods of concern. And I would like to introduce you to Davita Franklin and she is our community outreach coordinator. She primarily works with the TPO, so you may not see her as often. And I'm going to turn it over to Davida to talk about this fabulous program that really can impact kids' lives at a very early age.
Good afternoon, board members. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. All right, and I'm going to start off with this photo before we jump into anything about Flip Jr. This photo is, these are 3 of about a dozen students from the Tampa Heights Junior Civic Association that visited our offices on the 18th floor of County Center. And one of the most inspiring things about this photo for me and a lot of our staff members is that they're looking out of the window of our offices in awe of the view that we have every day. And what they were really curious about was, wow, here's this agency that plans for their community. And this is what we look at when we're planning for them. And we were able to give them that lens and just open up a door of curiosity and potential that maybe one day they will lead the legacy that we are participating in and engaging in today, that they would lead that legacy and take it and run with it and really just do much more for their community than we've ever done. And that sums up Flip Jr. But I want to get into some other details about it too. But I just want to start off with this and a quote from Maya Angelou that says that each child belongs to all of us and they will bring us a tomorrow in direct relation to the responsibility we have shown to them. And this moment did that. It showed that Plan Hillsborough was being very responsible for the young people in our community and giving them, again, the lens of a planner of that community. And that, again, is Flip Jr., the ambassador program that we held in conjunction with the Tampa Heights Junior Civic Association this past summer. I do want to thank a few folks, the volunteers from Plan Hillsborough who donated their time to the program, as well as the several organizations that donated a few of their dollars to help support the program as well. And with that support, we were able to serve over 60 households in Tampa Heights, Town and Country through Town and Country Elementary School, and also Palm River through Dowdell Elementary School. We also had a one-off partnership with the Prodigy Cultural Arts Program, where we had we held a workshop in Waimama at Waimama Elementary School. So that was about 20 other students and households that we reached out to. And with that, we had 12 volunteers that participated 3 hours a week at these 3 different locations, primarily again in Tampa Heights, Town and Country, and in Palm River. We learned early on that Flip Jr. supports the update of the 2021 Non-Discrimination and Equity Plan. Recommendation 2 says expand engagement efforts in communities that have been historically excluded from the planning process, as well as meeting folks where they are. And that's what we did. We went out to these areas that really needed for us to come out there. So you see here, you have Town and Country, Tampa Heights, and Palm River. These areas are also areas with high zero vehicle households, low income households, folks with no high school diploma, as well as high populations of racial minorities and ethnic minorities. And under the non-discrimination plan, we did also meet the recommendation to continue to conduct and expand educational outreach about planning in the community, specifically through the Flip and Flip Jr. programs. So we had a few successes and we learned a lot of great lessons. The kids learned about bike and pedestrian safety. There's Bina Torres of the Hillsborough TPO. She's the project manager for Vision Zero. And she was showing the kids how to use TikTok to make videos about bike and pedestrian safety. They also learned about the basics of zoning. This young man, he's from Dowdell Middle School, and he's holding up his pop-up neighborhood with 2 roundabouts that he created along with his peers. The kids also learned about transportation options. So these young people are from Tampa Heights and they were excited to ride on the streetcar. And they even realized, and I quote, the young man there, he told Executive Director Melissa Zernita, that with the opportunity of the expansion of the streetcar in his community, his parents and his grandparents will have greater opportunities for higher income employment. And then they learned how to advocate for the community. So this young lady here, she's 8 from Tampa Heights, and she now knows that she can have a voice in the planning process for her community. They also learned about the importance of safe spaces and beautiful places. So they had a beautification project where they did some landscaping around the Tampa Heights Junior Civic Association, as well as a mural that you'll see a little bit later on. So they're great opportunities through the Phillip Junior program. And one is through this young lady here. All of the young people that we worked with. But I do want to point out this young lady here. She's 8, she's from Tampa Heights. That's considered an underrepresented community. And according to research taken from the book, Elephant in the Planning Room, Overcoming Barriers to Recruitment and Retention of Planners of Color, she's best to represent her community. She also, if she were to choose the planning industry as a career, she would have a better quality of life. She'd be exposed to greater educational resources that she probably would not have been exposed to had she not chosen that career path. And also, she would increase the exposure of the folks in her community to the idea of planning and being active in planning for your community. So the book talks about how it's important to get people when they're young. And again, that's what Flip Junior did. We took students as young as 8 all the way through middle school, through the experience of learning about planning and transportation. And we did that through an engaging and relevant curriculum. And we also had a great civic engagement experience. Our planners were able to get field experience by going out and meeting with the kids. And you can even see here that we were able to work one-on-one. So there I am with the same young lady. She's looking at her likeness on a mural that the kids created at the Tampa Heights Junior Civic Association in a park area around the community center. Now, we did explore a couple of partnerships that we're proud to represent here. So here you have the USF Student Planning Organization, who the president is Fatima Elcott. She was also a fellow with the Plan Hillsborough last summer. And so she is going to pick up some of the projects that we worked on and help create opportunities for engagement through USF. And then also the Florida Bicycle Association, again, their generous funding helped us do this, which is this beautiful mural that, again, the kids created. The USF SPO is going to work on creating a living wall around this mural to teach the kids about gardening and hydroponics. So that those vines you see there, that's going to turn into something even more beautiful. And thank you. I just wanted to thank you for the time to listen to this wonderful program. And again, it's Flip Junior.
Thank you. I guess that's the end of it. All right. Thank you. That was a great presentation on Flip Junior. Did any of the commissioners have any comments or questions or thoughts on this one? Commissioner Bernstein? Yes, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ms. Franklin, thank you for that great presentation. It's an inspiring program. My question really just goes to the number of participants, if I heard correctly, was 12 this past year. Is that what we're anticipating for this coming year as well?
Actually, we had 12 volunteers from Plan Hillsborough, which include Hillsborough TPO. We engaged 60 students and an additional 20 in Waimama for a one-off workshop. So we have the potential to actually reach 80, and we hope to do so, if not more, this summer.
Well, that's fantastic. Yeah, you anticipated my next question, which is just the extent to which it could be scaled even further. But 80 is a terrific number. Is it possible to get to 100 or more students over time?
I'm confident that we can. We made the curriculum in a way where it's like a lesson in a box. So you can take it anywhere. That's the concept of the pop-up cities was kind of like that, where you can take cardboard, paper, pens and pencils and some scissors, markers anywhere, and with a whiteboard, and just teach kids very easily within a 1 hour to an hour and a half time frame, the concepts of zoning and transportation safety and transit alternatives.
Well, thanks. And one last question. Is there a selection process? I was just curious, how do students express interest? And is it open to anyone, or do we need to go through some form of screening to get to the final class?
For Flip, there is a selection process. For Flip Junior, we actually, we followed 2 different paths. So one was through a partnership with the Tampa Heights Junior Civic Association. They have their own summer program where we were able to implement some workshops within the curriculum that they were throwing out there with a few partners. However, we then had the workshop, a one-off workshop that we did in Waimama, where we partnered with the Prodigy Cultural Arts Program. So I feel like what would happen is we will continue to work with the Tampa Heights Junior Civic Association in serving the kids in their summer program, but we also can present opportunities for other nonprofit organizations and community centers to establish a partnership with us where we can go in and also teach those workshops like what we did in Waimama.
Well, thank you very much for all your efforts on that. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Commissioner Powell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Great presentation. That's the second time I've seen it, but I saw it at the TPO, and I was really excited for us to bring this to the board, bring it to everyone's attention. Two things that I had in mind for the future of the program. Do we get a lot of engagement from any of the elected officials, for these events, and do we have anyone that maybe coordinates, to try to get, at least one or two elected officials at some of these events? And I ask just because, I think it's important for them to, and for them, I mean the participants to see, people in government, as well, not just, learning about the back end, but actually meeting those that are, behind the back end and being there as, as an inspiration. And I'm not saying they need to, elected officials I know have quite a bit of meetings throughout the day and, months and weeks and all that, but if we can, try to get them engaged, I think that would be really great.
Yes, I'll make a brief statement, and then Lynn could talk more about actually the history of engagement with legislators. So over the summer, we did invite some council members and commissioners from Hillsborough County, the BOCC, out to look at the mural. And Councilman Goods, he went on a weekend to go take a look at the mural, and there was one commissioner that also went as well. So we did have a couple of folks who came out, but the history of Flip actually has a greater amount of folks who have participated. So I'll go ahead and defer to Lynn for that.
Over time, we did start this. We ran it 4 consecutive years before COVID came, and we started with 9 kids and grew the program up to in the 20s, which is about what we can comfortably hold in the Plan Hillsborough room, which is where we do the final exercise. And then we take the kids on, besides the streetcar and a bus up to USF and the port tour on a boat, we take them on school buses to other destinations, like if we're going out to the EPC and stuff. And so we've seen, when we go there, when we went out to Plant City, some of the commissioners, city commissioners, yes, no, commission members came out and saw us even at breakfast at Fred's one morning. And then the city manager came in and spoke when we were making our presentations. And at EPC, the head of EPC came in. It just depends on where we are and who's available. Like I said, we've done port tours and airport tours, and the head of parks toured us for the parks. We've seen, Julian B. Lane. We've seen, I can't think of the other name right now, across the way, but every year we pick different things that we can fit in and expand on the program. And then USF has been phenomenal about spending a day with us almost. We used to work directly with the planner there, but hopefully our friends at Merp and Cutter will be great to us this year. We spend the day touring the campus, looking at the master planning for the campus, and then talking about careers and educational paths. And we do some introduction to design. And then when ULI comes, we get professionals from all over the development community that come in and talk to them. And we've had engineering firms and other consultants also host days and where they tour their business and get to learn about what they do and their part in planning. So, but we're very flexible to add different pieces in different places each year.
And then the second question I had, and I don't know if I'd asked this previously before at the TPO, but do we have the ability to open this up to those that are in like private schools, or is this just strictly, for those in public school education system?
We have had some private school kids attend already. The public schools, even though they provide the bus and the leads for most of, to be able to reach the kids and have the morning announcements, announce it and have it go out and peach jar through the school system. But we have had kids from some private schools join us each year. But it's not, it's like 2 or 3 each year. It's not the majority. It's mostly public school kids.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Commissioner Poe. Are there any more comments or questions from the commissioners? I just wanted to say myself that the program is excellent. Obviously, I've been hearing about it for a while and known about the FLIP program. One of my consternations, though, with the program is, Lynn, we talk every year, and every year I volunteer myself to go out there and meet with these people and go talk to these kids at one of these events, and I still have not been able to make my way out to either FLIP or Flip Junior now in these communities of concern. So as we sit here at January, if I'm not at one of these events this year and we come to the election at the end of this year, I'm going to be a very unhappy chair. So let's try and make that happen sometime this year.
Make sure it happens. Davida will make sure it happens.
Okay.
We're happy to have you.
And I've been begging you for years now, so.
You made it quite clear recently that you want to be involved in this year. So thank you.
All right. And I have one question for you. You spoke about growing in-house production capacity. I thought that was interesting, something we've mentioned it in passing because of the skills of our staff, but I'm wondering if this is, and maybe this is a question for Melissa, something we've thought about growing in the agency just as a thing?
Yeah, we're very fortunate that we have another team member of Lynn's team, Caroline Charles, who has taken on some ownership of producing videos in-house. The 1 Minute Matters series she produced with a video camera that we bought. And so that's really fantastic. She's also produced a couple of videos promoting things like the One Water, the Why Mama, different things like that. So we'd like to continue to grow that capability in-house, and then use it in different aspects of social media, growing the YouTube channel with resources that educate folks. We've talked about in the coming year converting some of those videos so that we have a Spanish version of them, so that they can be, spread even further.
Very good. All right. Thank you. Those are my only questions and selfish comments. Was there any more comments or discussion from the commissioners on this item? Seeing none in the room, let me check online to make sure Commissioner Dickerson doesn't have her hands raised. Nope. Seeing none online, well, thank you for the presentation, and we will move on to our next item. Executive Director's Report.
Good afternoon, Melissa Zornita, Executive Director. I emailed out earlier the listing of meetings that myself or other staff have been conducting. We have a number of briefings on different hearings and workshops. We had a presentation to Tampa City Council that Melissa Dickens made on One Water. And they are the city administration is very interested in pursuing a One Water section of their comprehensive plan, similar to what was done in Hillsborough County. So we're excited to be working on that with them this spring. We would anticipate moving that forward. So the city is very eager to start updating their comprehensive plan, which is fantastic. So we're working on that. I did want to update you on a couple of other things that aren't on the list. As you know, over the last 2 years, we spent a good bit of time working on the Why Mama and RP2 studies and resulting plan amendments. The Why Mama plan amendment has gone into effect at the end of December. So we're thrilled to have that project. It was adopted by the board. It's complete. It's in effect now. Unfortunately, the RP2 set of plan amendments was challenged through the administrative hearing process. And so what that means is that they are not in effect. We are assisting the county in their administrative hearing process as Jay and myself may need to, provide information in that process. Our attorneys from Carlton Fields are assisting us in navigating that as to what our role is in assisting the county in that way. So that process will continue. The administrative hearings right now are scheduled for February. So we're hopeful that there will be a resolution and that those amendments will also go into effect, so that those projects can be completely done. The other item I wanted to update you all on is that the private property rights amendment, they've all made it to each of the 4 local governments. The county was the one, as you might recall, who asked us to provide an alternative draft, and you heard it a second time. That went to the BOCC at their December 9th hearing. They asked us there were a couple of stakeholders who had concerns. They asked us to hold some additional stakeholder input on that. They deferred the item to a March hearing. So we are reaching out specifically to some in the agricultural community who had some concerns about the proposed private property rights element. We also will be holding a virtual session for people to learn about the private property rights element and ask questions, give us feedback. I believe that's going to be scheduled in early February. So just wanted to give you an update as to how that progressed. Next month, you have your meetings on Valentine's Day. Very, not probably the way you anticipated spending that day, but we have our regular meeting and a Tampa public hearing on the items you were briefed on earlier. Also, I wanted to mention the Planning Commissioner Retreat, which has been scheduled for Friday, March 4th from 12:30 to 4:30. We'll provide lunch. Sharon should have sent an Outlook scheduler. We'll have lunch. We'll hear from Mr. Robin, hopefully, on some public records and sunshine law items, and then we'll have some time for you all to have a more informal discussion about things that we're working on, issues in the community, things that we need to be looking in the year ahead to. That's all I had for today. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, any questions or comments from the commissioners before I just dive into it? Okay, I'll just go ahead and dive into it and give you guys some time. I have a question about the poor. So the property rights element went back to them with options this time, and now they're taking some more time. We're going to have some more public discussion about it, and they're going to pick it back up in March?
Yes.
Okay, so it's not coming back to us, it's just put off for a little while at the
I
county.
think my read of the situation was that they liked the alternative that was based on the Thousand Friends model, but they understood there was some wording in there that was giving some of these stakeholders some consternation, and so they asked us to look further into that.
And we voted down that second one, didn't we? Or what was the?
That is correct.
Right, okay, just was wondering. All right, are there any more questions, comments, or discussions on the update? I did have another question. I noticed there was some caroling or something on there. I just wanted to ask what that was about.
Yes.
Because I miss all the fun stuff, the kids, the caroling. I just run the meetings apparently.
Well, the Planning Commission staff has, for years, had as our winter charity this nursing home Whispering Oaks that is in sort of East Tampa, Central Tampa, I guess. And we donate gifts to the residents there, and then a group of staff goes and carols. Last year, we had to carol outside the windows, and we weren't sure how it was going to exactly go this year, so we didn't really publicize it because we weren't sure if we were going to be allowed in the nursing home. They were able to go in. It was a great group. I think Lionel was with them, and it's always a really rewarding experience. So
Sounds fun. Our staff is awesome. Good job. Good job, staff.
Thanks.
Nice stuff.
I think they're pretty fantastic.
All right.
And I did want to mention, speaking of them and all of the fabulous work this group has done, at your tables you have a copy of our annual report, which chronicles many of the highlights, but not even all of the things that our group has done over the last year. And then we have the TPO's 2022 calendar, which also highlights a number of the projects they did over the last year, and all of their meetings are on the calendar, which is, I find, extraordinarily helpful because they have a lot of different committees and things. So both of those are copies for you all. If you have any questions about anything that's in them, please let me know.
All right. Thank you. Is there any more discussion of the Executive Director's report from the commissioners? Not seeing anyone in the room or anyone on the WebEx. Well, thank you for the information and move on to other business. Chair's business, I have none. Old business, I don't believe there is any. Anyone have any new business? Not seeing any. We will move on to committee reports. Commissioner Powell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Want to give an update on the Affordable Housing Board. The board did not meet in December, so we just had our first meeting for the year today. A few things I thought that were interesting were there's going to be a training session that's coming up that we were just notified about today. One starts tomorrow, and another one is on Thursday the 13th at 2 p.m. Has to do with the RFP process. So if anyone wants to, understand how that process works, and I think it's just maybe just specific for affordable housing. I don't know if I can actually, attend that as myself, but I don't know if, Melissa, we have anyone on staff that, because I don't know if it's going to be a taped, meeting, but I've been really curious on how that process works, so I don't know if someone can attend or if we can get a taping of it somehow.
Yes, I'll find out if anyone's available or if we can get a video of it. Yeah.
Okay, great. And on the within there, I guess community land trust, that's still being hasn't been formed yet. We're still trying to figure out how that's going to get done. The RFP for that did get approved. I think Kimley may be doing that. I'm not sure who, but in the event, it's getting extended for some additional time to make sure that it's formed the best way that we possibly can. And then it was brought up that our department and the city of Tampa should work together more and be a little more cohesive. So there's that. And then that's really all I have for reports.
All right. Yes, Commissioner Rodriguez.
All right, Mr. Chair, the city's Affordable Housing Advisory Committee met on December 15th. We received updates from staff on their infill phase 2, the DARE program, owner-occupied rehab program, and emergency rental assistance program. We also received a report on their activities for 2021 for the Office of Human Rights, and the opening of Tampa Hope through the Catholic Charities Program opened up in December. The committee also finalized the city's local housing incentive strategies, which is transmitted to the state annually. Our next meeting will be on January 19th. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Were there any more committee reports from the commissioners or any questions from the commissioners on any of these committee reports? Not seeing any action in the room or on the line. We'll thank you for the information, gentlemen. And that is our last item of business for this meeting. So with that, we will go ahead and adjourn this meeting and see everybody at 5:30? 5:30 for our public hearings for the Hillsborough County. Meeting adjourned.